Well, welcome and thank you for joining IBM's webinar. I am delighted to be here. My name's Linda York. I'm the Vice President of IBM's Technology Lifecycle Services, or for simplicity, what we call TLS. I'm joined today by Craig Garante, who's President and founder of Palisade Compliance. I'm going to tell you why Craig is so important to today's call in just a minute. So this is a joint partnership between Palisade and IBM. And as I said, a very important reason for Craig to be here. He's got some fantastic information that he's going to share with you that I think will really be vital for your planning of your data center, especially around Oracle. So let me tell you a little bit about TLS, Technology Lifecycle Services, for a reason, the life cycle of the data center. What IBM provides is that level of maintenance and support for the critical elements of the data center: servers, storage, networking, and software, and security, of course. But most importantly, the entire package is where IBM can be your sole maintenance provider. Now, we have become one of the world's largest third-party maintainers in the world. We have over 12,000 technicians in data centers today, globally, in hundreds of different countries. And that's important because our customers are telling us about pain points that they're seeing in managing their data center, the complexity, the cost rising. We've heard these for years, but in general, it's because of, as you can see on this little chart, all of these plethora of OEMs that customers are having to support. And so now we're starting to take on the sole responsibility of supporting these various OEMs. So you can come just to IBM and one throat to choke. So the seminar today, that leads me to why we're here. We are specifically talking about Oracle support and some of the pain points that our customers have been really telling us around the ULA, the complexity of Oracle contracts, the rising cost of them, and really being locked in. And as customers continue to come to IBM, and specifically with our partnership that you're going to learn more about today with Palisade, they're saving, in some cases, more than 50% of what they're currently paying for their Oracle support. And we want you to be able to take advantage of that. And we want to try to demystify some of the Oracle FUD, if you will, and really help you better see it more clearly. And there's no one better to do that than Craig. Craig is the president and founder, as I mentioned. He founded the company Palisade Compliance in 2011. It's one of the leading independent providers of Oracle contract advisory services. And he can do this because he has spent 16 years at Oracle. And while he was there, he was the global vice president of contracts, business practices, and migrations. So he is becoming a premier expert on Oracle licensing, quoted in dozens of publications, assisted with many high-profile Oracle disputes and customer migrations, and has been a really wonderful partner to IBM. So I'm joined by Craig also with two of my support experts for Oracle, that being Mike Buente and Walter Heckenroth. And we'll be taking questions at the end of today. But for now, I want to kick it over to Craig so he can do a bit of a deeper dive on how we can look at Oracle in a different way. Over to you, Craig.
Thank you so much, Linda. I really appreciate that, and thank you, IBM, for your partnership. I'm looking at this list here on the slide, and at Palisade, we just help customers with one of these. So I just can't imagine from a customer standpoint when you're dealing with all of these vendors across all of these different technologies, you're often overmatched, right? No one's going to be as good at Oracle contracting or licensing. When you think about a customer versus Oracle, right? Oracle is always going to have the upper hand, and I think what I try to do at Palisade is help level that playing field and maybe even give the customer a little bit advantage when it comes to that particular vendor. Um, today we want to talk specifically about ULAs, and the reason ULA unlimited license agreement. The reason we talk about these is because, well, first of all, it's Oracle's primary way of licensing their software. So when you think about database, middleware, even applications, sometimes Oracle loves these ULA contracts. It's the gift that keeps on giving to Oracle, and they can be really, if managed effectively, if entered into correctly and exited, they can be an amazing vehicle for Oracle customers to get so much value for their dollar. However, if managed improperly, they could lock customers in, really lock them into that. And when we think about the biggest pain point for Oracle customers, it's their support costs. It's the number one issue. When I started the company 13 years ago, the very first conversation I had with a customer was, help me reduce my Oracle support. And this morning I had a call with a customer 12 years later. They helped me reduce my Oracle support costs. So it's the same issue. The only difference is it's Oracle makes more money now. So it's bigger. Their contracts are much tighter in Oracle's favor if you don't negotiate them. So the purpose of uh, this talk today, I think, is helping customers. Like, you've got this ULA, you've got this amazing opportunity. How can you take advantage of it? How can you get the most out of it? How can you exit properly and then reduce your Oracle support costs? So that's what we want to talk about today. And I will say there's a chat feature. So if anybody has a question on anything we talk about, feel free to put the question in the chat, and we will be happy to answer those questions. And really, we'll only have like 3 or 4 slides here. This slide, I've been using this again for 12 years. It gets a little more complicated these days because sometimes we have to worry about on-prem deployments and cloud deployments and how to manage them. But in general, when we think about how to get the most from your Oracle ULA, it's really important that you roll Oracle, any products you have on that ULA, roll it out everywhere. Use it. You've already paid for it. You've already paid the license fees. You might as well use it. So if you've got 500 deployments today, make it 600 tomorrow. When you get out of that ULA, it doesn't change your Oracle support costs. They stay the same. So if you have 1,000 licenses in use or 500 licenses in use, a lot of times we hear from companies, from Oracle customers, that as they get near the end of that ULA, they want to reduce their deployments because they think at the end Oracle will renegotiate their support costs because, hey, we're using less than we did before. And so Oracle is going to be nice to us and reduce those costs. And that just never happens. I don't know, Mike, Walter, you guys have seen this before where customers, you talk to Oracle customers all the time. And have you ever seen where an Oracle customer went to Oracle and said, hey, we're thinking about using less. Will you help us out here?
Absolutely not, Craig. I've never seen that. It's hold or increase.
Yeah, the arrow is only pointed one direction, Craig, and it's not down, right?
Yeah, we have a saying that the Oracle calculator just has the plus button.
There you go.
That's it. It's just the plus button. Actually, we tried for a conference once to get these red calculators made with just a plus button, and we're going to hand them out, but that was a little cost prohibitive for us. I thought that would be a nice little giveaway. But yeah, this is, again, it's a common misconception when people you think if I use less stuff, the vendor will charge me less. I mean, this is procurement 101. This is purchasing 101. But often the IT teams who may think that way don't realize that because you've got people who are drafting and negotiating contracts at our clients, and you've got IT professionals who are really experts at doing their jobs. And often there's a disconnect between them. So obviously any advice we're giving here really depends on your specific contract. And we've got a really exciting offering that IBM is sponsoring for everyone who's attending here. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But exiting this ULA, getting out of the ULA, we call it certification, telling Oracle how much stuff you're using. What that does, it gives you options, right? So if you exit a ULA like this, you deploy the heck out of it, and then at the end you start contracting your deployments. That's what gives you opportunity. It gives you opportunity to move to third-party support. It gives you opportunity to not have to do the next deal with Oracle, right? And we're going to look at a slide here in a second where we talk about real numbers, real numbers from a client of ours and how they were able to reduce their Oracle costs. So we've got three charts here. The chart at the top, the red chart at the top, think of a ULA where it ends this year or it ends in 2024. The red banner is what Oracle wants you to do, right? So in 2024, Oracle wants you to renew or extend or do another ULA, right? So they want you to give them more license fees. And you could see in this scenario here, your support costs, if you're spending $1 million a year with Oracle, all of a sudden it could go up to 2.6, right? Just by renewing that ULA, you could literally double your Oracle support costs just by renewing. Now, I just did a 3-year chart here. Imagine if you had a 4-year chart and there was another renewal of 7 million and your support went from 2.6 to 4, right? So it goes up and up and it goes up at an increasing rate. So in this scenario, Oracle, wants you to spend almost $15 million with them. However, if you're able to certify out of that ULA and stay out of the ULA, the gray banner chart in the middle is the cost of certifying out of a ULA, right? It's 3.5. That is what, if you certified out of a ULA and you stayed on Oracle support, your Oracle cost could go from 15 down to 3.5 just by doing that, right? And again, if I had added a 4th year here, you would see, and even it would go from 22 million down to 5 million. So it just, the savings goes up and up and up the longer you can stay out of your ULA. And then the third chart at the bottom is a company who went to IBM support, and they're able to take their Oracle costs at a very minimum from 3.5 to 1.6. And the one thing about this chart is that is just the beginning of the savings. When we think about all the things you have to do to get value or to continue to use Oracle support, well, none of that stuff is there anymore. So Mike and Walter, why don't you guys, what are the other savings or opportunities for investment and innovation do customers gain when they move to IBM support?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So one of the things that I often speak to clients about, it's, they're kind of aware of this, but we make sure that they thoroughly understand it, what it really means. But there's a couple of additional buckets of substantial cost savings. I've experienced many clients over the years who have upgraded just to receive their support. When you think about that, it tends to not make a lot of sense, but so many clients get backed into that corner where they literally have to upgrade just to be supported. And then there's the more common use, as I'll call it a common upgrade practice as well, is they're forced to upgrade, but they look at, if it's an application, they look to upgrade and they really question the business value on the other side of that. So how much are we going to really gain by upgrading? And again, the primary precedent for this is, well, support's going to end, so I have to do it. So there's an incredible amount of additional savings by avoiding those upgrades. And then another one that sometimes clients that I've worked with don't think about a lot is support for custom code. So as you probably know, Oracle only supports vanilla code. So you buy it, you deploy it, but how many organizations actually deploy it? Just vanilla. Everyone customize it to their business, to their industry, to their specific needs. And then you fall into this trap. Well, anytime you need support, you contact Oracle, the first thing they're going to tell you is, well, that's been changed from the vanilla code, so you're on your own. So organizations tend to build very substantial and expensive support organizations internally just to handle these additional costs of, okay, this part we have to do on our own. And this obviously eliminates that as well. Mike, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think what we have on this chart, Craig, what you've got, that 550,000 is really what we consider to be kind of the quote unquote hard cost savings. That's just the maintenance savings by itself, right? So there, what Walter's getting into is that soft cost, right? Which, so when Linda alluded to 50% of savings at the front end of the call, that's just on the hard cost maintenance, right? So you start adding in those items that Walter just stepped through, right? The staffing that the clients have to have, the consolidation of vendors that we can provide, that can come up to 80 to 90% of savings, right? When you add the hard cost and the soft cost together.
Yeah, I think this particular chart, we think about, this client was moving away from some Oracle applications, right?
Yep.
So let's say PeopleSoft, moving to something like Workday, and that's another way I've seen customers utilize IBM support is when they're moving away from an Oracle technology. And there's another chart which I did not put up here that when we're explaining sort of the challenges of Oracle support, they've got different levels. They've got premier support, extended support, and sustaining support. And when we put those up on a chart, you could see you get less stuff with each of those, right? As you get further into Oracle's support cycle, but the cost goes up. So you're actually getting less and less and less. And then the applications and the databases, they're more stable because they're 5, 10, 15 years old. So Oracle's chart is providing you less value, and they're charging you more money for something where they're doing less work, which is always amazing to me. One thing I wanted to ask you guys, and we didn't ask this before the call, but one thing I've seen a lot about recently, a lot of our customers and your clients as well are moving to the cloud, right? So they've got these big on-prem environments, and they could be moving part of them to the cloud. They could be moving all of them to the cloud. They can be moving them to various, hybrid cloud, and with an on-prem component is probably what we see most. And Oracle's technical support practices, they used to be a way back in the day. They used to be a way to show customers the value that you'll get from Oracle support and why you should stay on it. But now they're actually using those support policies to push cloud. And what I mean by that is they won't support certain products in certain clouds, right? You can't support rack in the cloud. But you guys do, right? You mentioned custom code and things like that. You guys will support customers in any cloud environment, right?
Yes, I can equivocally say we will support customers in any cloud. We are sort of the hybrid, we are known to be the hybrid cloud leader.
I think that's really important. I've seen so many clients who are worried about moving to a cloud environment because Oracle says, we won't support rack in the cloud. We won't support rack in the cloud. And it's so refreshing to hear you guys say that. Yeah, we will. Right? It's a whole level of worry. And again, Oracle they don't tell me I was there a long time, but they don't tell me sort of how they're thinking, but I have to put my Oracle hat on once in a while. And I have to imagine they're putting those restrictions, not because it can't be done, because obviously you guys are doing it, but because they are looking to move people to OCI, get off of your perpetual license, move to a subscription model, get more locked in. I said that the ULA is Oracle's preferred licensing tool. Well, yeah, that's when they sell licenses. Their real tool is give up your licenses and move to Oracle Cloud, and everything will be great. And I think there are other inherent challenges in that. Anything else from this slide you guys want to discuss before we sort of hit the offer that you guys are sponsoring? And I see we do have a question here.
Yeah, and Craig, this is Walter. Just one final point. I mean, it's obvious on this slide, and I think most will probably understand this, but I just want to make sure that none of this is enabled until the ULA comes to an end, and you certify out. And that's the reason the combination between our two organizations is so valuable, because you help those that have the ULA, I like to call them handcuffs, that have the ULA handcuffs on. You help remove those, and then we can step in and enable some additional savings on top of that, or a substantial amount of additional savings. And this will make sure that the attendees here understand that you have to take the first step before you can take the second.
Yeah, Walter, kind of adding on that way, I look at this as the IBM and Palisades relationship, kind of like a hand and a glove, right? It's a perfect fit together where Craig and his team show each client in essence how to exit the ULA, and then we can move over to our support, which obviously, from our perspective, what I like to say, we bring a very, very powerful value prop, right? I call it the best of both worlds, right? Linda mentioned the 50% cost savings, but at the same time, we're providing a better support model, right? You're getting it from a trusted brand, financially backed, right? You're going to have familiar support processes at IBM, right? If you're doing support on an IBM logo machine, it's going to be the same support process if you come and have support for Oracle. It's going to be a consistent contract process as well, right? So all of those things we bring to the table, and then with Craig's help, that first step you talked about, kind of leading the path to where we can step in.
Yeah.
Craig,
Sorry, go ahead.
one other quick question. From the certification process that you had on the previous slide, roughly how long does that take normally in just kind of a general sense of time?
Yeah, let's because we've got some questions here, and the first question is, what does it mean to certify out of a ULA? So I'm looking. Looks like there's 4 questions. I'll take one. I think the next one I'll give to you guys because that's more your stuff, and then we've got a couple that could be joint here. So every ULA has a term, meaning for 3 years, you can deploy this software on an unlimited number of servers, for 4 years, for 5 years. At the end, whatever that term is, at the end of that term, you have to make a decision as a customer. One is you do another ULA and you just say, hey, extend that instead of ending in 2024, make that 2027. And that is option number 1 up there in the red. That's where you give Oracle more money, you do another ULA. Again, there could be value in that. But your costs, your Oracle hard costs are definitely going up. The other route is to end the ULA. And you have to, it's called certify out. Someone at your company needs to send Oracle a letter saying, I certify that we are using 100 database license and 85 rack licenses and 73 whatever licenses. So there's a specific list of products that you can do specific things with, and you need to certify out. So it's the counting and the measuring of exactly what you're using. You need to tell Oracle how many, and that's what we do, right? We help customers through that process so that letter can go to Oracle, because Oracle is going to ask a lot of questions, right? They're not just going to say, oh, thanks for your certification. Great, you now have 100 licenses. They're going to say, well, we want to know this, we want to know that. So they're going to ask a lot of things that aren't in the contract, right? They're just going to stretch this if they can and try to get you to change your mind and renew it. So the certification process, it's really vague in the contract other than the dates, right? So if your ULA ends on December 31st, you usually have 30 days in which to give them that certification document, so by January 30th. You have to do that. So there's definite dates in there, but how that process works, that's all negotiable. What information you give Oracle, how you count, how you measure. So the goal of doing a certification is to grab as many licenses as you can, legitimately can, without any non-compliance, right? So if you start rolling things out technically that aren't on your contract, well, that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. So that is what it means to certify. It's to tell Oracle, I certify as an officer of this company that I'm only using this, and it's a big deal, right? You want to make sure that you get it right. So that is the certification process. The next question comes from Jeff, and he says, can IBM provide security patches and software updates for Oracle database and related options?
Hey, Craig, this is Mike Bunty. Yeah, so we do not do the patches. Basically, when you come over to us for third-party support, we provide a holistic model, in essence, for that's actually better than a patching model, right? Because patches are not timely, right? Patches are a one-size-fits-all type of model, right? They may not be available for older applications or versions. They require valuable time to test and install. And our model that we have, and we can take this question offline because we've got security experts where we will take you through the details, but it's a holistic model, right? Where we take a look at the client's specific environment and come up with a tailored approach for each client that makes sense. Walter, you can chime in with any other
Yeah,
comments.
no, Mike, that's a good point. And the other thing that I would say is that, the patches are typically released, but at a later date, and, so you have the vulnerability for an extended period of time. But I think the most important point to make here is that in the years of being involved with this, typically clients have a substantial, what I'll call security approach and a strategy that they've deployed where, they're not relying, nor would they want to rely on just a patching methodology for security issues. That's proven to be flawed many, many times. So just having a more comprehensive, big picture approach, and that's certainly something IBM can help do. And typically, I'll say it again, most clients have, when you really start looking into it, it's really a substantial amount of security that's actually already in place by most organizations, in addition to the patches that you would receive from a vendor.
And we find that because the nature of our business, and we are not security experts like you guys are, so we're not, but we are experts in figuring out what Oracle software is running in customer environments. And typically, the software, when we're doing these certifications and measurements, we're using versions of software that are 3, 4, 5 years old, right? Your customers are not on the latest and greatest. So all those latest patches, customers aren't even on those versions, right? To even if they wanted to use those patches, they're just not there yet. Even though Oracle is pushing those updates. So yeah, I've heard. I think the question around security, from what I've seen on this side, it comes up all the time. Eventually, like you said, it's a custom approach. It's you guys working with their security team and say, this is how we would support you. And I think that is, oh, okay, that makes sense, right?
And
Because
Craig,
Oracle,
Craig, that's a great point. So many times we find when you look into it, they're on a lot of clients or licensees of Oracle on older releases that they're not receiving any patches at that time, which you nailed it. That's perfect.
All right, we've got a few more questions. Let's see. Steve has asked, we've recently been told that we cannot drop all of our Oracle licenses and then rebuy only what we need because of a gap accounting issue. We would have to wait 3 years before we could rebuy them, or they would just reinstate maintenance on the licenses we had. Is there validity to this comment? No. Now that there is a gap accounting issue, that's Oracle's problem. That's not your problem, right? So I'll tell you, Oracle is really good about making their problems customer problems, right? Oh my gosh, it's quarter close. You have to sign this. No, it's your problem, right? It's your quarter close, not my quarter close. So there is an issue around gap accounting. It's not something that should impact Oracle customers. That's an Oracle internal issue. So you can definitely do a rebuy, purchase and cancel and things like that. So we've helped many customers do that. Is Oracle happy about it? No, but you're staying in compliance with your agreements. Let's see, next one is for both of us, I think. How to avoid Oracle want you to terminate everything in case you do not renew the certified products. Again, I don't know if it's terminating licenses or support. Never want you to terminate licenses. You want to hold on to them as long as you can. Those are gold. You already bought them. There is matching support and repricing and all that stuff. So again, depending on, typically, with a ULA, everything's under one agreement. And you would have to, if you're going to go off of Oracle support, you have to go off of everything on that agreement. Typically, there's always the exception. Again, that's why we're going to talk about this assessment that we can do for you guys. And then this next one, I don't know the answer to this. I'll leave it to you guys. What about an SAP environment? SAP wants customers to be on the original support for an SAP system with Oracle Database EE running. How is SAP acting in that situation?
Mike, you want to take that?
I was thinking the same thing, Walter, if you wanted to, but yeah, I mean, this is, and to be honest, I'm not going to tread into waters I'm not an expert on. So from an SAP perspective, what we can do, I think, is we can take that question and table it and do some research and get back to you. But really, this is specific to Oracle or offering. But again, we'll take a look at that. And I don't know, Walter, if there's any insight you have beyond that, but I just am not super familiar with the SAP aspects.
Yeah, Craig, if you could do a favor, I know we have some other questions that are coming in, but could you repeat that question? I might be able to offer up some additional insight there.
Yeah, and this comes from Christoph. So if we, listen, this stuff is so complex. If we don't have the answer here, we will get back to him. What about an SAP environment? SAP wants customers to be on the original support for an SAP system with Oracle Database Enterprise Edition running. How is SAP acting in this situation?
Okay, so it's more of a reaction in the SAP world. I haven't seen any reaction at all. I mean, it's always a client, you control the relationship with SAP, obviously, as well. And if you happen to be running Oracle databases in your SAP environment or to help run your SAP system, those are independent of one another. So there shouldn't be any reaction from SAP at all, other than they may want to push you to go to their own sort of database. That might be the only thing that would come up.
I know the SAP embeds Oracle database, obviously, in their products. And there are multiple ways that customers can acquire Oracle licenses. One is if you buy them through SAP, embedded licenses like that. Probably in those cases, those contracts are all tied together. But in the vast majority of cases, we find that people who are running SAP actually have separate licenses from Oracle, and those licenses would be governed by those Oracle agreements. But I honestly haven't heard from, we have a lot of customers who use SAP and go to third-party support. I've never heard a customer come to me saying, hey, SAP had a problem with that. But I can't say that 100%. So maybe we'll do a little more digging and get back to Christoph on that.
Yeah, Christoph had asked for a reference, which would be wonderful, Craig, if we could actually give him a real life use case, even with a customer that's running SAP that's had the Oracle DB. And if the customer is willing to talk, that'd even be the cherry on top if we could. So we'll dig into this, Christoph, and get back to you. Noted. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, a couple more. Does Palisade provide services in EMEA, in Europe, and in Italy? Absolutely. If I need to go to Rome and deliver some advisory services, I'm happy to do that. Here's an interesting one. What scenario is a third-party support cannot be provided? Like, is it OCI? Question mark. You guys want to take that, or?
I'll take a stab at it, and then I'll toss it to the technical team. In general, third-party support is a wonderful solution, especially for those products, whether they be software or hardware, that are out of support, out of warranty, and support is stopped. And you're no longer getting the benefit of having the OEM providing very expensive support. Again, we come back to patching, security, and so on. That kind of very high level support is typically in the early life of a product. Many of our customers have equipment that's 3, 5, 7 years old, and software as well, that really they want to, and this is kind of a horrible term, but it's sweat the asset, whether it be software or hardware, but that's literally what provides savings to our customers. And that's where we would do oftentimes we'll do a red, yellow, green. We'll give you a green scenario of all your equipment and software that would be absolutely applicable to move to third-party support. Yellow, we might talk about it. Let's have a discussion. Where are you on your revisions of code, how security risk, and so on? And then finally, red. If red were to be notified, we would tell you transparently that we would recommend staying with the OEM. In those cases, if you want IBM to be your one throat to choke, we will provide the OEM direct relationship. We'll still take the first call. We'll get you all the cost savings on all of that green, if you will, the assets that are applicable for third-party maintenance. And then for those that aren't, we will counsel you and work with you to either provide that direct OEM support, or we'll help you do it on your own. So that's a quick synopsis in general of where third-party support is applicable. Anything further from you, Walter or Mike?
No, I think you nailed it there, Linda. It's very good.
Thanks. I'll pay you later.
The one specific in here was OCI, and that's a really interesting question because typically folks who are moving to third-party support, moving to IBM support, not necessarily moving away from Oracle, but they're moving away from the increased costs of Oracle, right? So they could be, I'm going to keep this thing running forever, right? That's one of the great things, because you guys will keep supporting them forever. So that's one of the benefits here. The way OCI contracts read, just to get really specific to answer this question, you may or may not be able to use third-party support in OCI. If it's a managed service where Oracle is patching and providing updates and doing things like that, then obviously you need to be on Oracle support for that, because you are getting support from Oracle. But I have seen OCI agreements where that was not a prereq, right? It was not part of the agreement. It was sort of like a AWS, Azure equivalent, just, a pure IS service. So in those cases, I guess you can. I don't know anyone who has, but there'll be someone one day who wants to do that.
I think this is a great segue, Craig, for given the level of detail that some of our folks have asked into the offer that IBM and Palisades are putting together here for. So good segue for you.
It's like we planned it that way.
I know.
So I'm really happy to announce that IBM is sponsoring this service for their customers, and really it's to help customers understand what to do with these really big, valuable, expensive ULAs that you have. And what they're doing is they're saying, listen, we're going to give you 30 days of Palisade guidance here, and we're gonna have a you work with Palisade. Send them your ULA contract, send us your ULA contract, complete our questionnaire. It literally is 20 questions. We ask you 20 questions about your ULA and your business. We have seen I have personally seen thousands of ULAs in my life. I helped draft the very first ULA at Oracle many, many years ago, and I've written and seen and negotiated on both sides. And in the last 12 years, we've helped customers deal with those ULAs, right? Whether we help them negotiate or they came into us, without, with an existing ULA. So we'll take your contract, we'll take your insight through the questionnaire. We'll take our team's experience, not just me. We look at the product mix. We looked at the terms and conditions. We look at, how you're deploying the software, and we'll provide you with a report. Like, here is what we recommend. We're going to ask you, what is your goal here? And hopefully you tell us our goal is to exit and move to IBM support. Great. And then we will give you that roadmap on how to do that and how to manage that. Takes about 30 days for us to pull that together. It never really goes over 30 days. Usually we can do it sooner if you all get us your ULAs and questionnaires quicker. And then I personally deliver those with your executive team. So it's a really powerful tool. Like I said, provides you the roadmap. This is what I should do to manage this ULA, get the most out of it. This is not an anti-ULA thing. This is, how do I get the most out of that? And then how do I achieve this other thing, which is reducing my Oracle costs? So all folks have to do is go to that URL. This is the form, right? Put in your name, put in your email address, type in IBM, they're sponsoring this, and hit submit, and then it'll come to a Palisade person. And the way we work is we sign your non-disclosure. We work directly with the clients. We keep everything between ourselves, and then we provide that report out to you. And it's, again, all sponsored by IBM. And again, it's all geared to, number one, get the most out of what you have. Number two, how to achieve your goals and how to reduce your Oracle support costs. And that's it. And this is available for the next few weeks. We're going to keep this open. We'll keep pounding away at this. And I'm really excited about that. Now, I think we have a couple more questions.
We do have a question from Luca Palazzo asking if Palisade provides services in EMEA and specifically in Italy.
Yes, we definitely, like I said, we're happy to go to Roma and provide these services directly. But I think there was, let's see, what about these might be very specific. What about proprietary hosting licenses or AFCU licenses? Can IBM support those?
application specific full use. I mean, from a maintenance standpoint, yes, because it would do in essence, the same thing. It'd be just separating the maintenance from the license, right? So there'd be no issue with that.
And from a contractual standpoint, there usually is no tie from the license to the support. So you can have limited use licenses, hosting licenses, things like that. It's not tied to maintaining Oracle support for the most part. There's always that caveat. Obviously, that's why, for us, we always go back to those agreements, but it's the same software, right? You're just doing different stuff with it.
Exactly.
And then there's one more, and there's opportunity here. If folks have other questions, then now's the time before we wrap up. Can Palisade provide advisory services around terms and conditions of the client's specific agreement and advice on moving to third-party support? Who can I contact in EMEA? Absolutely, we do this all the time. This is our business, is exactly that, to help customers here. So, which is another great segue to our thank you for more information. So if anybody wants anything from Palisade Compliance, either fill out that form for a 30-day ULA assessment sponsored by IBM, or send an email there and it'll go to the team and it'll come to me. Just say you heard me on this webinar and I'll get right back to you. And for the IBM folks?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Craig. I think you have demonstrated live here to all of us your knowledge of Oracle, the licensing, the ULA, and also the custom nature of what you do. Your business coupled with us, it's never a one scenario fits all. It's very specific to a certain client. Are you journeying to the cloud? Are you getting off of PeopleSoft? Is it a database that we're talking about? Is it maybe a combination of Oracle hardware and software? All of those things require sort of a custom look. And that's why I think this analysis is so important, number one. And number two, so valuable that we're offering this 30-day free assessment. Because I'm telling you, this is consultative kind of work that we're providing here, and we don't usually do it for free. So I really encourage all of you to, if you're interested, to please to sign up. I also just want to also encourage all of those folks that ask questions, whether it be about Europe or Palisade or IBM support. Mike Buente with his email here, buente@us.ibm.com. Mike will be our go-to guy and will help you find the right person locally to you to make sure you're well taken care of. And that means whether it's an IBM question or a Palisade question. So I just want to also extend my sincere thanks to everyone from IBM and Palisade who've spent time here, because we know how valuable your time is. So we're hoping to save you money and time by providing some of this for you to take the pressure off. Any closing comments from you, Craig?
Just thank you for your partnership. Thanks for your participation, Linda, Mike, Walter. Always appreciate it. And I'm really excited about this partnership and working with you guys and helping customers save some money here. Like I said, it's the #1 challenge they have. 13 years I've been talking to Oracle customers on this side. It is still the #1 issue. How can I reduce my Oracle support? This is how.
It's fantastic. Thanks again, Craig, and all
Thanks,
of you
everyone.
at Palisade behind the scene. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Walter. Catch you guys soon. Bye,
Thank
all.
you, everyone.
Thanks again. Have a happy holiday. Bye-bye.